Hi beloved ladies, this is just another little video snippet from me the day after the autumn equinox. First of all, I just want to thank you so much for holding this vigil and for really reaching beyond how you've currently known yourself to be, reaching beyond the familiar places that we've all been hanging out in on the inside. I know I have been. Moving beyond those familiar places where sanctuary is often found, the voice of comfort listened to, and stretching beyond that place into new territories, new realms of being, leaving behind those old familiar places and setting foot along forgotten paths, which reminds me of the physical journey that I'm taking at the moment here in the south of France, where I'm doing exactly that. Yesterday, oh my goodness, yesterday I was ever so proud of myself. I seemed to turn into some kind of gecko with sticky feet and hands. The way I was scrambling over these rocks was brand new. I've always been pretty adventurous when it comes to the natural world, as long as I'm on the ground. My knees can often buckle when I'm up high on edges and ledges, and actually using hands and feet to climb, to stabilize. But yesterday, those fears did not exist at all. I was filled with an insurmountable force of inspiration. Yesterday on the autumn equinox, I actually set physical foot upon this place I'm exploring. And it reminded me very much of the journey of life. I was cutting open forgotten paths, pulling back bracken, snapping off pieces of bramble and bush, using other intuitions and intuitive senses. Where is the path? How do I get through this? How do I get up there? Judging the right amount of time to be doing this, making sure I got down by sunset, making sure I wasn't lost in the forest at night, taking risks where risks could be taken, and calling it a day when anything beyond that point would have been not only futile but a waste of energy. So in the next days, I shall be returning for the whole month of September, using every moment to return and to just show up fully for this experience. And every step I took yesterday, I was aware of you ladies. And for the others receiving the transmission, the men and the women on this path. This Grail Quest is a very real journey. It is so true what the Grail romancers said, that there is an energy that surrounds this quest, and every step that is taken is utilized and in pursuit of something greater. It's not necessarily about finding something. It's about the journey that you take to get there. Everything that we're doing, ladies, everything. Holding a vigil, receiving the transmissions, establishing our own one-to-one connection with the Marys, with Sophia, and with now Pistis. This is all for a greater reason. And every nanosecond that we spend in attunement to this lineage is another nanosecond dwelling and communing with who and what we are. Something is around us. Something is surrounding us. Something is orchestrating all of this. Last night, I had an incredible dream of this humongous snake, cobra, golden. It had circled the entire house, and still its tail was in the garden. Its risen up head was in line with the front door, and every time I came to the front door, it was in alignment with my head. And the hood of the cobra, it was enormous. What I understood was, if I was to fear the snake, the serpent, it would have been only because of how big it appeared to be. Because the serpent itself was not threatening. Kitty and the serpent rubbed heads together. Kitty loved the serpent. It rubbed its back against the serpent, and the serpent rubbed its head against Kitty's fur. Therefore I knew they know each other. Kitty is most definitely not only an animal companion, but a soul guide. I could see behind the serpent this new little black and white dog that I've named Sophie, that has a new home now. I could see that she was injured. She had been abandoned. She had hurt her nose, and her eyes were infected, and she was whimpering behind the snake. So I asked the snake to step aside, allow me access out of my own home. I have to go to Sophie, and I have to bring Sophie to the house where there is medicine. The serpent bowed its head to one side. I went. I got Sophie. I brought her in. I anointed her eyes and her nose. And suddenly, Sophie came to my left and rested her nose in my side. And Kitty came to my right and rested his nose in my side. And I held them both, a dog and a cat. And then the serpent rose up and enshrouded, if that's such a word, umbrellaed herself over us. And I knew that that serpent was a fiery protection. This place I am exploring is alive with something. I am not using my mind at all to try to figure it out. I'm just showing up as often as I can be there. Where does this path lead? Where does this path lead? Where does this path lead? So, beloved ladies, for the duration of September, stay attuned to this beingness that I call Pistis. And how I understand that is the birthplace of Sophia. If you can imagine that Sophia is the veil of forgetfulness, and that is why when we go to the edge of knowing and not knowing, we meet Sophia, wisdom. When we go to the edge of who we think we are, where we came from, where we're going, those three fabulous Gnostic questions, when we just start to lose consciousness, that is where we find Sophia. And Sophia's grace can present an opening through her own self like the eye of a needle, through the veil of forgetfulness, and straight into pure knowing. And I don't know about you, but when I glimpse that place, there are no words. I cannot talk about it. I can only speak up to Sophia. Beyond that veil, no words. For the remainder of September, if you would be kind enough to keep stretching yourself to that place of no words, so the effulgent light of reality can shine upon your face. Thank you, beloved ladies. I will keep you posted on the Grail Quest.